I think I'm saying that we struggle all our lives to answer it. But it's the struggle that is important. That's what helps us to define our place in the universe.
This is Beverly, Dr. Beverly, Dr. Beverly Crusher.
Look where we are. Here, all of us, in this moment. So let's do what we spent our entire lives learning to be great at.
And this is Crusher Convo. Hey guys, and welcome to Crusher Convo. We're crushing the conversation one episode at a time. I am here to give you my review of episode 3 of Starfleet Academy, Vitus Reflux. Now, of course, if you have not seen this episode, turn back now because there will be spoilers.
Spoilers.
I hope my GG hat does not distract you today. I just woke up this morning. However, I'm really excited to talk about this episode because it's fun. There's a lot of cadet shenanigans that you would see something in, like, I don't know, Saved by the Bell or whatever. It's a typical high school rivalry where you see one school who are just assholes go against a team who, or another school who is definitely in the middle of something, right? There's always that underdog situation where you're just trying to root for them. And that's basically what's going on here. War College thinks they're the shiz and think that all the cadets at Starfleet Academy are beneath them. And now you kind of know why when you really know that chancellor for the War College. I knew I didn't like this guy, and I'll talk more about him later. But anyways, let's get started.
Academy cadets, do you find it challenging to run while also debating the ethical ramifications of hurting the floor?
Do you find it challenging to be a War College douchebag?
Know your best.
Dude, I just got smacked in the head.
You're gonna take up half our space. Get ready to be target practice.
Oh, I see. We don't like each other.
Don't talk. I smell fear.
Now for Caleb, he's not used to this really. He's used to actual horrible people who will, kill him or rip his fingers off or whatever, instead of stupid below him shenanigans with these kids. Like they think that they know better because they're like, well, we're in the War College, so we're stronger. They don't know, I don't think, shit. Now, granted, I'm not going to say that they didn't go through stuff post-burn, just like the cadets didn't, but they give themselves a little bit too much credit. And the Romulan chick, I was really getting pissed off, but she did a good job because she was being a Romulan. Like she's looking deep down into that Romulan self of just being a complete bitch to them. And then of course you have the cocky white guy, and then you have the Vulcan who, again, very close to the Romulans, where they just think that they're better than everybody else with their logic. So very good start to this episode because you know where it's headed. And of course they start doing pranks and they are just on top of these kids. And I was wondering if were they already like encouraged by their chancellor to go ahead and start going after these kids because the chancellor had a problem with Nala, or did they start doing it on his own? And he was like, this is a good idea. I'll join in. I'm not really sure, and I don't understand the War College's endgame here, but they're really giving Starfleet Academy a run for its money. But in the end, they're the ones that look like assholes, right? Like if Vance was in this episode, he would be all like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing? So definitely shows that the War College has a lot of issues, or has a lot of egos and arrogancy among their own cadets. It kind of gets me a little worried for Tarima because she's there for a reason, and I hope she just doesn't get caught in that stupid mindset that the chancellor has for the kids.
Today's obstacle course is designed to show me what each of you is made of. Every move you make will gain or lose you one individual point. Any cadet who rings the bell of victory at the end of the obstacle course wins a bonus point. The top 8 cadets will make the team. The rest of you will live in shame. Begin! Release the drones!
So here, Laura and Jet are creating this team, Calica, to, choose the best out of the best when it comes to, I guess they were kind of calling it like laser tag, which of course it wasn't very much like laser tag, and I'm assuming it was also going against the War College kids because they were both there in the gym. So here they are trying out, and of course you see lots of shenanigans, screaming, people falling around and freaking out. And then of course you see like Darren and Genesis trying to, fight for captain. And of course Caleb is like, I don't even want to join this because I am not part of a team, though we kind of find out later, thanks to Tarima, that he really does enjoy being a part of a team. But that's a whole other story. So anyways, I think this part was hilarious when Laura was like, release the drones. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? She's having a little too much fun. Her Klingon side, and she has like the worst of the worst. Klingon and Jim Hadar, like fierce warriors to the death, and she has each of them. So I think she needs to tone it down a little bit, and that's probably why, she has Jet by her side, which we'll again talk about in a minute. But I think this whole interaction was hilarious, but then it became an issue because somehow the War College kids got a hold of the video and completely changed Nala's, sponsor video, whatever she was supposed to give to the committee. And I thought, well, that's really rude and horrible because they took something from a chancellor, from the officials of the school, and hijacked it to make, fun of them. And I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? Because I don't understand why the War College is so against Starfleet. I have not seen Discovery, so I know the War College was brought up multiple times. And so maybe the War College feels intimidated by Starfleet Academy because they are showcasing a different side that the kids can join. Right? Like we have a Klingon going into the medical field. And so I think they might be a little intimidated. And so he was trying every effort to bring Nala down and her cadets. And I think that was just absolutely horrible, but it really just showed their true colors.
It's accessed our security to get that footage, which was only possible with an instructor's help.
Is that an accusation?
A fact. I analyzed all the metadata. You aided and abetted the humiliation of my cadets.
We learn more from our failures than our successes, and someone has to teach your cadets that life and war will come at them from all sides.
Some of them came here in cargo holds. They don't need a reminder that life isn't fair.
Apparently they do.
Put yourself in their shoes for a sec.
So after the first issue, when the first prank where the kids were transported and they were naked or half naked or whatever, being thrown around places, Laura was concerned. She was all like, if they shenan once, they're going to shenan again, right? And she was like, you need to stop this. Now, at first it seems Nala's like, kids will be kids, it's fine. But Laura was very concerned because she knew how that chancellor was. I can't think of his name right now, and it's probably because he pissed me off and I didn't want to remember it. But she knew how he was, and she even mentioned about T. So all this stuff is going down. But then Nala had taken them into with the plant, okay, which is the Vitus Reflux. And it repeats itself and everything. It was a cute little plant. And they didn't understand why she was bringing up botany. And they're like, how is this going to prank them back? They had talked about like a bunch of cadets had done this, this, and this. Oh, I think they said the 28th century. And it was amazing. It was the best prank of the, ever that, it went down in history. But, Nala's like, no, but you should do it this way and have patience and empathy. That's what she kept saying, patience and empathy. And the kids were not understanding what the hell she was doing. But when these cadets, the War College kids, went and hijacked her video, she knew off the bat, she's like, this was on you. You gave them permission. You gave them your authority because he has like secret codes and everything. And he used it to humiliate a bunch of kids. That is so horrible. Like, I'm all like, dude, did you not get enough hugs as a kid or something? Like, what the fuck? That's what pissed her off. That's just, she was like, they all came in, some of them came in cargo holds. They don't need to be reminded of this kind of stuff. And he's like, yes, they do. And it's just like the arrogancy. I was just like, oh, can you please punch him in the face? Now I understand what Laura was trying to say and was trying to warn Nala. But of course, Nala had an end game this entire time. But again, that was the moment where she was just like, okay, cool, this is what's going down. Now, of course, the kids try to take it upon themselves to do a laser tag type thing in the atrium. And of course, they're getting their asses whipped because Darren became a captain very horribly. He used Genesis's, sensitive issues against her to make him the best. So that, of course, is a jock, stupid ass way of winning. And she was upset. She was pissed. And she knew there was more below the surface with Darren, but she was very hurt by him using that against her. And so even though she still participated because she's like, I'm not going to go against the entire team, and I'm going to listen to you, but I don't have to agree with you, right? So she had every right to be pissed off when it came to that. But of course, because Darren is so like fight, 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 and he is also dealing with his own issues with his parents, he was just letting them lose, right? They were just sheeps to the slaughter. And finally, until he was kicked out and Genesis took over, they strategized something to make them actually get a point on the board. And even the Vulcan from the, cadet from the War College side was like, oh, they found a strategy and that was removing you. Okay. And I think that was humble pie moment for Darren because he was not listening to his team. He was basically like, do this or nothing, like, right. And she was listening to her. She used the strengths of everybody around her. And I think even the Vulcan from the War College was, not bad, right? So again, everything kind of hit the fan at this point because then they all got in trouble because this is not what Nala was wanting.
Hello.
Hi.
Patience and empathy. These are strategies, tools. What? Mere.
Are your pajamas covered in little accordions?
They are tiny warp cores. You want to say something cute about it? Huh? Do ya? Do ya? You want to end this war once and for all? Show some growth. Growth! Is anybody listening?
Who doesn't want those PJs? I'm just saying. When she said they were little warp coils, I started laughing so hard. And I was like, of course she would have little silk pajamas with warp coils on them. Nala's character, her character is so unique and she is so out there, right? And she's just a pure lanthanite, absolutely. She's been getting a lot of hate online, obviously, because of the way she sits and flips and does all these different things. But that's the character. There's been so many different characters in Star Trek history that were not, the proper captain, like Captain Picard, or even Sisko, or even Janeway. I can even think about Jadzia, who she was the first officer to Sisko. No, wait, that was Kira. Well, she was high up ranking, second officer, I believe she was. And she did some random shit. All of a sudden, she's being fighting in a Klingon Civil War, what was it, that blood oath thing? I mean, every character is unique in their own way. Beverly even sat differently in a chair, okay? Riker used to sit in the chair, oddly. There was never a set standard for these characters just because they're in Star Trek. Every character is unique. Come on, we've seen Palia do some crazy stuff. Why isn't she getting any shit for it? So I don't understand the hate, and so it really annoys me, and I just have to let that out there. But I wanted to play this scene because you could see her frustration. She's trying to give them hints. You guys are smart. Listen to what I have to say. She mentioned about his eye, the Chancellor's eye. She mentioned about his tea loving. She was doing all these different clues, and even though they're like, I don't get it, and then she sent them off. It wasn't until Genesis saw the Vitus Reflux, which I'm freaking sure Nala made that guy push that cart of Vitus Reflux down the hall to get them to understand. And that's when they were like, if we're going to be in trouble and we're going to be getting 30 plus hours for our troubles, let's go down and make it worth it. And so they did a fantastic prank to the point that it not only made the Vitus Reflux grow into giant monsters that you would see in like Little Shop of Horrors, right? So here's all the cadets for the War College running out in basically their underwear and them getting completely embarrassed over this situation. But of course, Nala knew exactly how this was going to end and how the chancellor was not going to be able to get these kids in trouble. And he conceded at that point, right? Here's a moment where they finally got the upper hand and kind of learned an important message. But before all that went down, there was one special scene as they were pulling this prank off that I really wanted to highlight.
Not like other betazoids. Back home, I was able to manage it. Now that I have the freedom to go where I want and be who I want, that freedom, it cost me something.
Think I'm getting the picture.
I didn't choose the War College because of you. I chose it so I can finally learn the discipline of being in control of myself. Okay, this place, it's who I am. I mean, it's who I have to be.
So Caleb has this idea that Tarima went to the War College because of him. He's kind of having this Zach Morris attitude of like, oh, well, it's because of me and all this stuff. You have feelings, blah, blah, blah. Granted, Caleb is not as much of a jerk as Zach Morris, but I digress. She needed to go to the War College because she's making her lose control. You even saw it during the basketball game, which bravo to the actress. That was some nice shots, by the way. I mean, yes, those were great. Her inhibitor went off, okay? And I knew right at that moment, like she was kind of being a bitch to him, but you can kind of tell she was being a bitch on purpose because she didn't want to lose control. And when the moment her inhibitor went off, he even was like, was that because of me? And she was just like, back off, right? She had to explain to him, not everything's about you. And you need to understand that I need to do this for me. And you do have a group of people that are by your side, that you can trust, that you actually enjoy being around to get you through stuff. You don't need me, okay? I think he kind of latched onto her like a baby duck because they kind of had similar situations a little bit, right? And so because she wasn't Starfleet and she wasn't part of the academy, he kind of gravitated towards her. But she's like, I need you to take a step back. I need you to do this for me. Granted, he goes to Nala with concern. And she's like, sometimes you really just can't do anything about it. You know, you kind of have to let them do their thing and let them learn from their mistakes if that's what you feel like this is going. So they have a cute little moment, you know, they're smiling and they're kind of hitting each other and stuff like that. And I'm really anticipating what's going to happen when they do find his mom, which granted, mom was not mentioned at all this entire time. So growth for Caleb, I don't know. This was just a really good overall episode, to the point that it gave a message at the end of the shenanigans, right? It wasn't just stupid kids playing pranks on each other. There was a reasoning behind it. Also, Nala was part of that cadets who did the amazing prank, you know, in the 28th century. And I think, you know, there's a little side to her where she's like a kid at heart. Again, she's part Lanthanite, so I don't know if she would even make the thousands of years that Palia is, but is she still kind of a kid at heart? She still looks older, but she's still kind of like, you know, all over the place. So I'm not sure just how much of her character is, you know, is she going to mature more? Is this it? You know, is she going to like kind of how Palia is sometimes? But she has a great relationship with the kids. She understands them. She knows what they're coming from. Nala has seen a lot in her 422 years. And so she is a good guide for these kids. And I think that's what I enjoyed about it.
I want to thank you, but I figured you'd need plausible deniability if the oversight committee ever found out the new chancellor had shenanigans.
I appreciate it.
I knew you were doing your job.
And you were doing yours. I'll admit I couldn't see that.
I loved this moment between Nala and Laura because Laura was definitely having concerns that Nala wasn't taking the situation with the War College seriously, especially with the committee coming in. But then she realized, I should have trusted you more. I should have realized that you had an end game. And the reason why Nala didn't even include Laura in the first place was she's like, I didn't want you to be accessory to this. I didn't want them to be like, oh, did you know that she was going to pull this down? Laura would be like, nope. And she wouldn't get in trouble. That is a good captain. That is someone that is a good leader and always thinks of everyone else ahead of her own. Okay. And I think Laura's starting to kind of understand that. You can kind of see, especially being half Klingon and half Jem'Hadar, there's a lot of probably issues or the way she grew up. And she's now surrounded by people that love her for her and her way of, she does a great job. Nala even mentioned that. Jet is in love with her. I think Laura's going to definitely be going through growth and figure out more self. And that's why I mentioned in my first review that I feel like her and Jaden might have some kind of good mentor, cadet leadership, because he is finding the beauty in things as a Klingon, and he might be able to share that with Laura. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like that might be a really nice touch to see, since they are both from a side of just pure fight to the death, beheadings on Wednesdays, right? So it's just something that they are finding more of them inside than what they were taught to be. Now, I did want to mention real fast that when Nala put her feet up on her desk, those desks are touchscreen. And so I'm all like, is she going to set something off? Is she going to hit something important? That's like a little nitpick of mine. And I made a joke about Beverly doing that when Jack showed up after being assimilated and was saved and all that stuff. She put her hand on the console. It's like, well, she just blew up Jupiter. I mean, a joke, right? But I kind of thought that. I was like, oh my gosh, is she going to hit something? Because those tables are not tables. They're computers.
To ducking for dinner? But now it can't exist because you forgot to prep the replicator.
I'm sorry, kitten. My bad.
Are you not respecting dinner? Dinner is important.
We'll go out. Chinese, Navari.
French. I want coq au vin, but with crab leg and rapoc sauce.
I'll make a res at Yvette's. See? Everything is gonna be all right.
Nope.
Goodbye, my love.
Even more now.
Gay aunties for the win. So this was accidentally kind of spoiled to us a little too soon when the actors were doing interviews, but here they are. This is Jet's reason why she left the Discovery. And it's kind of cute. And I loved this moment. Now, Darum's reaction, he was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But she used it to help him out, being like, hey, it clearly doesn't seem like your parents are going to be for you, but Genesis was trying to, and you fucked her up, right? So, but this whole scene was adorable, especially because you kind of see, Laura was a little hurt. She was a little like, dinners are important because they both have very important jobs. They're both busy all the time. That dinner is their time together, right? So, again, we were kind of anticipating it. I was kind of thought it was going to be a little bit later on, so to get it as quickly as we did was great. And the way that Jet made the little Brie joke and calling her kitten, and like, I don't know, I think I'm going to absolutely enjoy this and think this is going to be hilarious. So I just wanted to highlight that because it was so cute and funny, and Darum's reaction and all of it, and then even giving the message about Genesis was just perfect. It was like a perfect 1.5 minutes that a lot was happening, and we definitely, enjoyed every minute of it.
My tricorder.
So time for the tricorder rating. Now, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was great. I think I also give it a 4 out of 5. So far this season has been pretty solid. The show has been very solid. It's hitting all points, little nitpicks here and there, but I'm not bored when I watch this episode. All the episodes have been an hour. So you kind of wait and see. I think maybe it's a smidge under the last two, but just a smidge, but not enough to give it a 3 or even a 3.5. So I'm definitely going to give it a 4. But here are the votes that I got on my Patreon page. So I got a tricorder rating of 7 votes. 29% gave it 5 competitions. 57% gave it 4 pranks. 14% gave it 3 testing friendships, and 0 for 1 and 2 problems. As you can see, 4 pranks seems to be the highest on this one. I give it a 4 pranks. I think it was very, very solid. I really enjoyed it. And I'm curious what else you guys thought about it. If you want to go ahead and comment below and let me know your thoughts, that would be awesome. Don't forget to like this video and please help spread the word to help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I did want to mention, because I don't know if I actually brought this up in my last 2 videos. This was brought to me on Threads, so if I'm repeating myself, my apologies. But John on Threads said that the characters are fascinating. I look forward to getting to know them better. Holly Hunter is doing sublime work, bringing something new and innovative to the captain's chair. I feel like I already told you guys this, but I didn't remove it from my banners, and I feel like I might have forgotten, so let's repeat it just in case. But I wanted to let you guys know what John had said, because I think it's one of those things that, you know, some people were already criticizing the show just because of, you know, the clips and the trailers and the posters, whatever. But when you actually see the acting and the story, you're like, oh, this is interesting. This is intriguing. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen next. My husband's actually really enjoyed it. I'm trying to get my coworker. She's like, this sounds like a show I might like. I was like, yes. So I can't wait to hear what she has to say. She was on my episode when we were recapping on Lower Decks, and we did Starbase 80. She's going to be watching Starfleet Academy. So I'm really excited to see what she has to say. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Can't wait for the next episode. And of course, as always, live long and prosper.
Crusher out.